What's good, people, and welcome back to another video. Game Week 1 is finally here, and after weeks of drafts, transfers, preseason matches, and probably way too much overthinking, this is the team I'm going with. I've got Haaland leading the line, Isak, Joao Pedro, who is absolutely flying in preseason, and a few picks in midfield and defense that I think could seriously surprise you. In today's video, I'm going through all 15 players one by one. We're going to look at preseason form, minutes, starting security, fixtures, attacking potential, DefCon, clean sheet chances, and most importantly, why every player has earned a place in my squad. Some of these picks are safe. Some are definitely a little risky. But every single one has a reason for being here. So, this is my final Game Week 1 team selection. Let's get into it. By the way, before we begin, if you haven't joined the FPL Insider League yet, what are you waiting for? Come and compete against me and the rest of the community this season. This is our league code, and I'll also leave the joining details in the description and pinned comment below. I want to see who can actually back up all those FPL opinions in the comments. So get your team in, join the FPL Insider League, and let's see who's sitting at the top when the season is over. Good luck! Starting off in goal, I've gone with Antonin Kinski at £4.5 million, and actually, I'm feeling even better about this pick now. The biggest question was always minutes, and De Zerbi already answered that, stating that Kinski is his confirmed number one. This isn't preseason talk either. He started all 7 league games after De Zerbi arrived last season, and crucially, he kept the shirt even when Vicario was fit again. And now that situation has become even clearer. Vicario is on his way to Juventus, with Spurs agreeing to a season-long loan that includes an option to buy. So Kinski's biggest competitor for the number 1 shirt is basically being removed from the equation. Martin Dubravka is still there as experienced cover, but right now, this looks very much like Kinski's position to lose. Preseason has been encouraging as well. Kinski started 4 games and played 295 minutes, conceding only 2 goals. He played 45 minutes against MK Dons, 90 against Chelsea, 70 minutes against Getafe, and then the full 90 against Hoffenheim. And by the way, that Chelsea performance really stood out. Spurs went down to 10 men, Chelsea started creating chances, and Kinski produced several huge saves to keep them in the game. Then in the final major friendly against Hoffenheim, a 3-0 win, a clean sheet, and a 7.8 rating. There's another number I really like here too. Once De Zerbi took over last season, Spurs conceded just 10 big chances across 7 league matches, fewer than anybody else in the Premier League during that period. Now, Game Week 1 isn't perfect. It's Brentford away, who have just smashed Eintracht Frankfurt 7-0 in their final friendly. So, I'm definitely not banking on a clean sheet, but for £4.5 million, a confirmed number 1, and improving Spurs defense, and very little reason to spend more money in goal. I'll take that. If you want another £4.5 million option, Verbruggen, Leno, and Petrovic are all alternatives. And personally, I'm not upgrading Kinski to a premium keeper. I'd rather keep that extra money and put it into midfield or attack. Don't you agree? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. For the backup keeper, I've gone with Dovin at £4 million, and this one is basically all about freeing up money. I'm definitely not expecting points from him, because right now, Carl Rushworth looks like Coventry's number 1. He played every minute of their championship-winning season, started their final 2 preseason games, and was in goal for the 2-0 win over Monaco, while Dovin stayed on the bench. And even if Dovin did play, Coventry start away to Arsenal, so this isn't exactly a fixture I'd want my goalkeeper in anyway. So, Dovin's job in my squad is simple. £4 million, sits on the bench, and allows me to put more money into my starting 11 while Kinski starts in goal. The risk is obvious. If Kinski doesn't play, I probably don't have a playing backup keeper. But for now, I'm happy taking that risk. Now, let's check out the defense. For the backline, I've gone double Arsenal defense with Ricardo Calafiori and Ben White, and my third defender is Joe Rodon from Leeds. For Ricardo Calafiori at £5.5 million, and after the Community Shield, I'm feeling very good about this one. The first thing I wanted to know was whether he will actually start game week 1, because Piero Hincapié is still competition on that left side. But right now, everything is pointing towards Calafiori. He started 4 of Arsenal's 5 summer games, then got the nod again against Manchester City in what looked very close to Arteta's strongest available defense. And with Saliba out for an extended period and Timber still a few weeks away, I think Calafiori is strongly favored to start against Coventry. And then there's the attacking upside. He assisted against Girona, and then against City, 23 seconds. That's all it took him to bomb forward from left back, get into the box and score. And this isn't completely random either. Last season, Calafiori had 32 shots in the Premier League, 22 of them from inside the box with 3.34 expected goals. That's a seriously aggressive attacking profile for a defender. Combine that with Arsenal's defense, 19 clean sheets last season, and now we've got Coventry at home in game week 1. There's one little warning though. Calafiori came off just before the 60-minute mark in the Community Shield, and Hincapié is still there. So longer term, when Arsenal's defenders return from injury, there could definitely be some rotation. But for game week 1, I'm backing him. As for Ben White at £5.5 million, and for game week 1, I actually think this is one of the safest picks in my defense. White had that knee injury at the end of last season, so initially I wanted to see one thing: minute. And I've got them. He's featured in all 5 of Arsenal's summer matches, started 4 of them, played just over 300 minutes, and even picked up an assist against Girona. But the biggest signal came in the Community Shield. 90 minutes, clean sheet. Arsenal beat Manchester City 3-0, and White finished with an 8.2 rating. That's exactly what I wanted to see before game week 1. And his starting position looks very secure right now as well. Timber is still out for a few weeks, and the official FPL scout expects White to start while he's unavailable. Besides, look at the fixture. It's Coventry at home. Arsenal kept 19 clean sheets last season, so doubling up on their defense for this fixture makes a lot of sense to me. There is one longer-term concern. When Timber comes back, suddenly White has proper competition again. So I'm not calling him nailed for the whole season, but for game week 1, I'm very confident. If you don't want 2 Arsenal defenders, Gvardiol at £5.5 million is probably my favorite direct alternative. He started every City friendly and currently looks like their safest defensive pick. And lastly, someone who is probably one of the less glamorous picks in my team, Joe Rodon at £4.5 million. I actually think there's a lot more to this pick than just finding a cheap defender. First of all, the minutes look extremely safe. Rodon featured in all 6 Leeds preseason games, started 5 of them, and then played the full 90 in that final 4-0 win over Augsburg. And importantly, Daniel Farke went with Rodon, Jacobi Joel, and Tarek Moharemovic as his back 3, which looks very much like the defense we're going to see against Nottingham Forest. But here's the interesting part. Rodon hasn't been playing like your normal stay-at-home center back. He's been making these aggressive, overlapping runs from the right side of the back 3, and he actually finished the preseason with 2 assists, one against Liverpool and another against RB Leipzig. And for FPL, there's another route to points here. DefCon. Rodon picked up 18 defensive contribution points last season, despite costing only £4.5 million now. That's exactly what I want from a cheap defender. 90-minute security and another way of scoring points even when the clean sheet disappears. And that might matter in game week 1 because Nottingham Forest away isn't an easy clean sheet. Leeds only kept 2 clean sheets away last season, so I'm keeping expectations realistic. If you want another 4.5 million pound defender, Ola Aina gives you more obvious wingback attacking potential at Forest under Glasner. Personally, for my squad, I like the minutes, security, and the balance Rodon gives. On the bench, I've got Andy Robertson at 4.5 million pound, and actually, I really like this as a bench defender. He's been building his minutes since returning from the World Cup. And in Tottenham's final big friendly against Hoffenheim, he played the full 90 minutes, assisted Richarlison, and finished with an 8.2 rating. Official FPL analysis now says Robertson looks likely to start game week 1. So why am I benching him? It's mainly the fixture, Brentford away. And because I already have Kinski in goal, I don't really want to double up on the Spurs defense in an away fixture where Brentford can definitely score. But as bench cover, I love it. For 4.5 million pound, I've got a likely starting left back with genuine attacking upside, who can easily come into my 11 when the fixtures improve. I also went with Leif Davis at 4 million pound, and honestly, this might be one of the best value players sitting on my bench, because this guy has had a seriously attacking preseason. He had 4 goal involvements, 2 goals, and 2 assists more than any other Ipswich player. He scored twice against Rayo Vallecano and was involved again as Ipswich finished their preparation with a 4-2 win over Union Berlin. And that's exactly why I like him. He's not your typical 4 million pound defender who's just there hoping for 2 appearance points. He's a very attacking left back who can actually create something. Ipswich also start at home to Sunderland, which isn't a terrible fixture at all. I'm still benching him because I prefer my starting defenders for game week 1. But at 4 million pound, Davis is excellent first team cover and someone I can genuinely rotate into the 11. Let's go and check who is occupying my midfield. In midfield, I've picked up Semenyo, Mbeumo, Tzolis, and Wirtz. Now, for Antoine Semenyo at 8.5 million pound, he is one of my favorite picks in the entire team. Just look at what he did last season. 202 points, 17 goals, and he finished as the second highest scoring midfielder in the game. And after moving to Manchester City in January, he started every single league match. So the minutes were already encouraging, and preseason has made me even more confident. Semenyo started all 3 of City's friendlies and produced 4 assists, 1 against Inter, 1 against the K-League All-Stars, and then 2 against Atletico Madrid. And honestly, Maresca's system looks perfect for him. He wants those wingers isolated out wide, attacking defenders one-on-one, and that's basically Semenyo's game. Now, the Community Shield wasn't pretty. City lost 3-0 to Arsenal, and Semenyo didn't return. But here's what I actually liked. He played the full 90 minutes, the only City attacker who did. That is a massive signal for game week 1. And the fixture, Bournemouth at home, his former club. There's rotation risk eventually, because City have Doku, Savinho, Foden, Cherki, and Marmoush around those attacking positions. But right now, I'm not touching him. Next up is Bryan Mbeumo at 8 million pound, and I'll be honest, this is probably one of the players I'm most confident about going into game week 1, because his preseason has been seriously impressive. He played 341 minutes across 6 games, started 5 of them, and finished with 3 goals and 1 assist. He scored twice against Atletico Madrid, scored again against PSG, and then assisted against Leeds. And here's something I really like. Mbeumo was voted United's player of the match in all 3 of those games, 3 in a row. Now, the really interesting part for FPL has been his position. With Benjamin Šeško missing the entire preseason, Carrick has been using Mbeumo through the middle as the number 9. So we're paying £8 million for an FPL midfielder who's basically been playing as a striker. There is one update though. Šeško is back in full training now, so that center forward role isn't guaranteed to continue. But even if Šeško comes back into the team, I still expect Mbeumo to start, most likely moving back onto the right. And I'm definitely not worried that he started the Milan game on the bench. He'd already started twice that week, and the official FPL scout basically put that down to Carrick managing his workload. Last season, he still delivered 11 goals, 3 assists, and 148 points. And now look at the opening fixtures. Hull away, then Ipswich at home. That's about as good as it gets. If you want another £8 million United midfielder, Cunha is the obvious alternative. But Cunha returned later, only made his first preseason start against Milan, and still looks short of match sharpness. So for me, Mbeumo is locked in. Then I've gone with Christos Tzolis at £6.5 million, and this might be the pick that's changed my opinion the most during preseason. When Arsenal first signed him, I liked the price, but I wasn't convinced about the minutes. Now, I'm much more confident. Tzolis played 349 minutes across 6 Arsenal games, started 5 of them, scored once, and produced 5 conventional assists, plus he won the penalty against Dortmund. And then came the Community Shield. Against Manchester City, Tzolis started on the left, played the full 90 minutes, picked up 2 assists, and finished as the player of the match with an 8.7 rating. That's a huge Game Week 1 signal. And don't ignore what this guy did in Belgium last season. 17 goals, 23 assists, 40 goal contributions in 36 league matches. He didn't just rack up assists either. He created 135 chances, more than anybody else in that league. Now, obviously, Belgium isn't the Premier League, and that is the risk. There's also Martinelli competing for that left wing position, so I'm definitely not calling Tzolis nailed for the entire season. But for Game Week 1, I think he will start. And the fixture is Coventry at home at the Emirates on opening night. For £6.5 million, that's exactly the kind of upside I'm willing to take. If you want safer minutes at the same price, Martin Odegaard is also £6.5 million. If you need money elsewhere, Enzo Lefebvre at £6 million saves $500,000 and has looked very good in preseason. But after what I've seen from Tzolis, I'm keeping him. Last but not least, I went with Florian Wirtz at £7.5 million, and I think this could be one of the most interesting value picks in midfield this season. Now, his preseason has been short because he came back late from the World Cup. But since returning, the signs have been really encouraging. Wirtz has started all 3 games he's been available for, played 178 minutes, and scored twice. Once against Leeds and again against Monaco. But the thing I like even more than the goals is his position. Andoni Iraola has basically said he sees Wirtz playing behind the striker, and that's exactly what we've seen. Against Como, Liverpool lined up with Szoboszlai and Gravenberch deeper, Wirtz at number 10, and Isak directly in front of him. For FPL, that's exactly where I want him. And remember, last season wasn't nearly as bad as it sometimes gets made out to be. Yes, he struggled early on, but once he adapted, his numbers exploded. Between game weeks 14 and 22, Wirtz scored 59 points, joint most of any player in the game alongside Haaland. So now we're getting him for only £7.5 million. With Salah gone, a year of Premier League experience behind him, and what looks like a nailed number 10 role, there is one concern. Newcastle away in Game Week 1 isn't easy, and because Wirtz returned late from the World Cup, I wouldn't be shocked if Iraola manages his minutes a little early on. But I'm definitely not taking him out. If you want safer minutes and save $500,000, Szoboszlai at £7 million is tempting, although his deeper preseason role makes Wirtz much more attractive to me for attacking returns. In the bench, my 5th midfielder is Diego Gomez at £5 million, and there's actually some proper upside here as well. He came back late after playing for Paraguay at the World Cup, but once he returned, he started Brighton's final 2 friendlies. Against Roma, he played for 60 minutes, got an assist, and an 8.4 rating. Then he started again against Bologna, played 66 minutes, and Brighton won 1-0. And last season, he still managed 5 goals and 1 assist from 32 appearances. Now, Brighton have Aston Villa at home in Game Week 1, but there's one complication. They play Tromsø in the Conference League on Thursday, only 3 days earlier. So for now, Gomez stays on my bench. But he's definitely not dead bench money. He's a £5 million midfielder who can actually become useful if the minutes and role continue. Let's check out the attacking front line. Up front, I went with Alexander Isak, Erling Haaland, and Joao Pedro. Alexander Isak at £9 million. And I'm actually really excited about this pick because if you just look at last season, it doesn't look great. Only 3 Premier League goals, 1 assist, and 41 points. But honestly, I think you almost have to throw that season away. Isak suffered that serious leg injury against Tottenham in December, didn't return until April, and spent the rest of the campaign trying to rebuild his fitness. Now the situation looks completely different. He had a decent World Cup with Sweden. 1 goal and 3 assists, and Liverpool have gradually built his minutes through preseason. First 45 minutes against Leeds. Then around an hour against Monaco, where he scored. And finally, 84 minutes against Como. That's exactly the progression I wanted to see. And here's the biggest thing for me. Hugo Ekitike is still months away after rupturing his Achilles. So right now, Isak isn't fighting for the number 9 shirt. He looks like Liverpool's clear center forward with Wirtz playing directly behind him. And that's a combination I really like for FPL. There's even a good chance Isak takes penalties now that Salah has gone, although that hasn't been officially confirmed yet. Now, the fixture isn't perfect. Newcastle away, St. James's Park. His former club, that's gonna be spicy. But we know the ceiling this guy has. 2 seasons ago, he scored 23 goals and 211 points. At £9 million, if Liverpool get the old Isak back, that could look very cheap very quickly. For managers wanting to save money, Ollie Watkins at £8 million gives you a £1 million saving. And if you really want to go budget, Calvert-Lewin at £6 million gives you $3 million to completely reshape another position. As for my team, I'm backing Isak. Then we got the big guy. Erling Haaland at a record-breaking £15.5 million. Now, I'm keeping him. But I'm definitely not going to sit here and pretend there aren't any concerns. Haaland actually had a brilliant World Cup. 7 goals in 5 games as Norway reached the quarterfinals. But because of that deep run, he returned to City very late and completely missed their 3 preseason friendlies. So the Community Shield was basically his preseason. He started against Arsenal, played 53 minutes, and honestly, he looked rusty. He had a couple of chances, including one really good opportunity, but couldn't finish them, and ended up getting a 5.9 rating. So am I expecting 90 minutes against Bournemouth? Probably not. But am I expecting him to start? Yes. Maresca has already said Haaland is fit for the beginning of the season, and the fact he started the Community Shield is a massive clue. When Haaland is fit, he's still City's number 9. And let's remember what we're talking about here. Last season, 27 goals, 8 assists, and 239 points, the highest total in the game. Now he starts at home against Bournemouth, and roughly 75% of FPL managers already own him. So selling Haaland because he looked rusty for 53 minutes would be a massive call. Could Marmoush replace him after 60 or 70? Absolutely. But if Haaland starts and gets 2 chances inside the 6-yard box, we all know what can happen. There's no real like-for-like alternative at £15.5 million. Going without him means completely restructuring your squad and spreading that money across several positions. For me, that's not worth doing before game week 1. And finally, I got Joao Pedro at £7.5 million. And honestly, I don't think this decision is particularly difficult anymore. His preseason has been ridiculous. He played 347 minutes across 5 matches, started 4 of them, and scored 7 goals. 7! He came off the bench against Western Sydney Wanderers and scored a 9-minute hat trick. Then he scored twice against AC Milan and finished preseason with another brace against Real Sociedad. That's basically a goal every 50 minutes. And the biggest thing for me isn't even just the goals, it's what happened in that final friendly. João Pedro started through the middle. With Palmer and Morgan Rogers playing around him, he played the full 90 minutes, scored twice, and finished with a 9.1 rating. That looks very much like Xabi Alonso showing us his Game Week 1 striker. Now, Chelsea do have competition. Nicholas Jackson and Danny Welbeck are there. So I'm not saying João Pedro is completely rotation-proof for 38 game weeks. But right now, I think he's very strongly favored to start. And remember, this isn't just preseason hype. Last year, he scored 15 goals, finished on 177 points, and every one of those league goals came without penalty. And he got Fulham away in Game Week 1. If you need money elsewhere, Calvert-Lewin at £6 million saves you £1.5 million. But with this form, at £7.5 million, I'm not going anywhere near that transfer button. He is a strong keep for me. All right, now for probably the biggest decision of Game Week 1. Who's getting the armband? And I've got 3 players that I'm seriously considering. First, Erling Haaland against Bournemouth at the Etihad. On paper, he's the obvious choice. He scored 27 goals and 239 points last season. And with roughly 3/4 of FPL managers owning him, he's probably going to be the most captain player by an absolute mile. The concern? Match sharpness. He only played for 53 minutes in the Community Shield, looked a little rusty, and I wouldn't be surprised if his minutes are managed again. Then we've got my aggressive option. Christos Tzolis against Coventry at home. He's coming off an unbelievable summer. 1 goal and 6 assists, including 2 assists against Manchester City in the Community Shield. Coventry at the Emirates is arguably the best attacking fixture in my team. And then there's Bryan Mbeumo away to Hull. He scored 3 times during preseason. He's been playing through the middle for United, and Manchester United have one of the best opening fixtures of the game week. João Pedro deserves a mention here as well. After 7 preseason goals, but Fulham away just puts him slightly behind those 3 for me. So the obvious safer decision here is that Haaland gets the captaincy, and Tzolis could get the vice captaincy. If you want to attack Game Week 1, then go with Tzolis. And if you're looking for a slightly more differential armband, Mbeumo is absolutely in the conversation. I might risk it later on and consider giving Tzolis the armband instead of Haaland. I'll make up my mind on that decision right before the deadline. Anyways, there you have it. My Game Week 1 squad is locked, well, at least until the next piece of team news completely ruins everything. I've gone with a mixture of proven FPL heavy hitters, strong preseason performers, and a few calculated risks that I think could give this team a really nice ceiling. Haaland stays, Isak stays, João Pedro stays, and behind them, I've tried to build a squad that gives me both Game Week 1 upside and enough flexibility for the weeks ahead. Now, I want to know what you think. Who would you change? Who am I completely wrong about? And most importantly, who's your captain for Game Week 1? Drop your team in the comments. And don't forget to join us in the FPL Insider Fantasy League. The league's code is in the description box. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the team news video before the deadline. Good luck for everyone.